it's a pleasure to be back in Brussels. You've seen the title of my presentation, but I really want to relate this to the theme of this event: new reality, new opportunities. And to do that, how many of you know who Elon Musk is? Could I just see a show of hands? He is the CEO of both SpaceX and Tesla. And let me just give you some examples of our new reality. This is just from 4 days ago.
Waiting for where's the engine? Slow it down, lights are deployed.
So those of you who are engineers hopefully can really appreciate that. We've put a rocket into space and then we have re-landed it on a movable barge in winds up to 50 miles an hour. But Elon Musk said, this is the first step to the stars. And you're like, oh, that's a bunch of hyperbole. I don't think so, because here's what they already did. On that rocket that went into space, what they did is they had a cargo load of this very futuristic, inflatable pop-up room. And they have extended the International Space Station. And it is Elon Musk's intention to begin putting tourists up there by 2020. And then he hopes to use the funding for that to go to Mars by 2026. I don't know if he will actually make it, but that rocket is a reality today, and the opportunity is ahead of us. Let me give you another example. This is in his capacity as CEO of Tesla. Just 12 days ago, he announced the new Model 3. And in 12 days, he has already sold 325,000 of those high-powered electric vehicles. Could I just see a show of hands? Did anyone in the audience actually put in an order for one? So that's the reality. The opportunity by 2020, in just 4 years, he hopes to have this gigawatt battery factory operational and producing 500,000 batteries to put into those cars. That's the opportunity. But here's how I want you to think about our reality and the opportunities. And a couple of years ago, I wrote a book all about this. It was called Jump the Curve. And I was writing the book, I came across a wonderful quote from Einstein. And decades ago, he said to scientists, he said, if you can't explain what you're working on to a 6-year-old child, you're a fraud. I thought, that's a great philosophy. It just so happens when the book came out, my son Sean was only 6 years old. And I wanted to see if he could understand this concept of jump the curve, because it relates to his reality and how I want him to think about the future. So I said to him, you have two options. All babies have 20 teeth. You have 20 teeth. You have two choices. You can either get $1 per tooth. That's one option. Or the second option is you can get a penny for your first tooth, 2 for the second, 4 for the third. That penny doubles 20 times. I said, which one are you going to take? Well, without batting an eye, he goes, I'm taking the $1. That'd be $20 in total. I go, okay, fair enough. Do you, however, know what the 20th tooth under the other option would have been? Sheepishly, as a 6-year-old boy, he said no. I said, well, as your dad, I'm going to tell you, it would have been worth $5,242.88. He said, no way. I said, yes way. I said, look, son, let's plot that penny out doubling. Early on, the doubling looks insignificant. 2 cents, 4, 8. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere. But after 20 doublings, it shoots up to over $5,000. So that's why a 6-year-old child needed to know how to jump the curve. The reason you need to know how to jump the curve is because today no fewer than 12 technological forces continue to double. It is computer processing power, it is data storage, it is bandwidth, it is the sequencing of genomes, it is advances in biotechnology, nanotechnology, robotics, 3D printing, sensor technology, the collection of data, renewable energy, collaborative consumption, and the sharing economy. All of these trends, they're not increasing linearly, they're increasing exponentially. And so, to just drive home the point, this chart actually goes up to 30. If my sons, we would have doubled that penny 30 times. The reality is at 20, we're just at 5,000. That's the reality. But the opportunity is $5 million. That is how we need to think about the future, because we're living in exponential times. And I'm now going to walk you through 12 trends that are going to represent extraordinary opportunity. And these are in no particular order, but the first trend I want to tell you about is wearable technology.